Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our Thursday evening class, Developing a Technical Theater Program for Youth. My name is Mike Wisniewski, and I am very honored to present tonight our wonderful presenter and a very good friend of mine, Melissa Bornemann. Melissa, thank you for joining us tonight. We're going to just give you a little background about Melissa. She is a lifelong resident of the Great Lakes Bay region. She has been performing since the age of 9 and has been seen on several stages in the area. She gained an interest for theater in high school and has been playing on both sides of the curtain ever since. She is a mother, performing artist, coach, and self-proclaimed organizer. Melissa has worked on over 20 productions on stage, being a part of over 10 production crews and assistant-directed 2 children's shows. She is a member of the Midland Center for the Arts Youth Theater Board and has worked with kids from ages 8 to 21 for 3 years. Over the past year, working with Center Stage Theater staff and volunteers, Melissa developed and piloted a successful youth theater program with 9 kids from 6th to 8th grade. So before I turn this over to Melissa this evening, I would ask that any questions that you have, please put them into the chat. When Melissa is finished, she will go through and she will answer your questions for you. So at this time, I would like to turn it over to Melissa Bornemann.
Thank you, Mike. Hello, everyone. Good evening. Thank you for tuning in and joining us. Hold on, I'm working on sharing my screen here, working through it. As Mike said, I am Melissa Bornemann. I am I work with the Midland Center for the Arts with their youth theater program, and I have for about the last 2 years. And about a year and a half ago, I was asked to help develop a program for children that focused on the technical theater side, because I don't know about you folks, but where I'm at, there wasn't a whole lot of opportunity for kids to explore the world behind the curtain. And I have created a PowerPoint here that I'm going to share with you as soon as I can get everything to work correctly. Sorry, I'm having some technical difficulties with my computer. There it is. Okay. It's making me save things. I'm sorry, folks. There, hopefully everyone can see here. As I said, my name is Melissa Bornemann. I am the wife of a career theater technician. I'm a mother of 1 great little girl who is 10, Addison. You can see her photo here. I have been a production coordinator and an assistant director with the youth theater program at Midland Center for the Arts over the past 3 years. And I'm also on their volunteer board. Now, for those of you that aren't familiar with, I can go through my agenda first. I guess that would make sense, right?
Melissa, real quick, you're sharing like the other screen, it looks like.
Oh, no. Thank you for letting me know. It is. Like I said, I'm having technical difficulties. Try this again.
You got 10 minutes. Sit and eat and watch Mom's show.
There you go.
JR, you're not on mute. All right, is that better, Chuck?
Yep, you're good to go now.
Awesome. Thank you so much for letting me know. Okay. All right. Today I'm going to talk to you about what our youth theater program is like in Midland. What exactly the program is that we created called Beginning Stages, or BEST as we like to call it. What areas we focused on and what was included and how to incorporate the kids into the show. And at the end, I'll have a little Q&A. So I guess without further ado, we'll get going here. All right, a little history on the program at the Center for the Arts. The Peanut Gallery, as it was called, we are in the process of updating our name. So we're just going to call it the Midland Youth Theater Program right now. It's affiliated with the Center for the Arts, but it was created before the Center for the Arts was in existence, and it has been active for more than 50 years. So we're pretty proud of that fact. It's a program that is ultimately reliant on parent involvement. They chaperone rehearsals. There's parent committees for literally everything. Parents do the props. Parents do the costumes. They do the makeup. They help build the set with the design from the director and the scenic designer at the center itself. They create the t-shirts. They have hospitality, so they plan all the parties and the fundraising to ensure that our program can continue. There also is a financial involvement that is needed because there is a $75 tuition, but they do receive 6 tickets per family to come see the show, so it kind of offsets it a little bit. And there's other fees that vary by production, like any other show that you may be in. You have director's gifts or cast parties to help feed the kids. The board is completely volunteer, and it's completely made up of participant parents, community members, and local educators. They do 2 shows per year. The cast and running crew are all children from 2 different age groups. In the spring, there is 4th through 6th grade. In the fall, there is 6th through 8th grade. And what we like to focus on is having fun. Theater is fun. That's why we do it. That's why we all love it. That's why we keep coming back. You focus on the basic terms while you're incorporating the kids into the shows. You get stage directions, you get blocking, cast and crew responsibilities, backstage etiquette. Teach kids young to keep their mouth shut backstage, and maybe as adults, because we all know that we have that problem too, we'll be able to be quiet backstage. Projection and diction, we all struggle with that too, so start that young as well. What is the stage manager? Who is the producer? What do you mean I have to follow these rules? Just figuring that out as we go. And above all, safety is number 1. There is the rule of 3. No one is ever to be alone with a child. That is something that we've always struck for. Over the past few years, we have kind of changed our focus to be more education, more theater education. Like, kids need to learn more while we're here. They're not just here to do the show. And also inclusion. We want to make sure everybody that wants to come to play can. At first, there was more of a focus on the performance, and kids that weren't cast were invited to be on the crew for the final couple of weeks, just as in an adult production. But generally speaking, you had to have auditioned to be part of the crew. That was the name pool that you had for the kids to be pulled from. If you didn't have enough, maybe you could call from previous productions. The hard thing is kids weren't receiving feedback when they weren't cast. They didn't have anywhere to go for coaching to make sure they were better, to get better, and maybe they could make it next time. I mean, who doesn't love that? I mean, I know I try when I audition. If I'm not cast, I like to thank the director and ask them for feedback on my audition to maybe better myself for next time. with so many kids. Sometimes we would have upwards of 100 to 120 kids audition for a 60-person cast. You just don't have time. But we wanted a way to let all kids that have interest, because I mean, rejection puts a damper on your self-esteem. And we work with kids at such a vital age in their development. It's hard enough to get up there and audition in the first place, to tell them no, and for them to internalize it's just you're not good enough, and then not give them a chance to better themselves or learn how to get the skills they need, just seemed like doing a disservice to the kids. So this led to begin the creation of beginning stages. What beginning stages started as is a program for kids not cast in the show, or that didn't wish to audition for the show but are still interested in maybe developing some performing skills. For the first show, the performance side of things. Oh, sorry, I have a friend now. Just pass her off. Sorry about that. The first show that we started this with, we only had a performance track just to see if it was something we wanted to do. It was a show that I assisted and directed, so I got to see the effects firsthand. And it was amazing. Like watching these kids that were just so timid and shy and just weren't quite there at auditions after this camp were able to get up on stage and perform a vocal solo. And it was beautiful to watch. What it was, it became a camp-like workshop that focused on developing new skills and your natural talent. 6 weeks, and as I said, it ended with a performance of just the kids in the program. Each week, they focused on a different aspect of theater. You have your stage direction, you have character building, you have vocal strengthening, your breath support, projection, diction, and I mean, improv. Who doesn't love doing improv, especially as a kid? You let kids go run wild with it. You can't. Sometimes it gets a little crazy, but yeah. Why have the separate tracks? Even with the creation of a performance camp, there felt like something was missing. And that's because not all kids that are interested in theater want to perform. And it could be because they're too nervous, they have stage fright, they have scheduling conflicts. Maybe they're in sports and can't commit to a full 6 to 8 week commitment 4 to 6 nights a week, or parents just can't get them there that week. This gives them another option. Or just a pure lack of interest in performing and being on stage. Like some kids just don't want to even audition. It doesn't interest them. And as a new member of the board and a longtime center volunteer, both on and backstage, I was asked to help develop something for the kids to get the same education and like that the performance kids were getting. And that led to creating a second track focusing on the technical side of theater. It's a similar workshop format, and we focus on broad areas of design. We have lighting, sound, set, makeup, hair, props, and costumes are what we were able to work with in the one time we were able to do this. In the future, we want to add stage management and running crew. To do this, I contacted local designers and experts and asked them if they would be willing to facilitate an hour-and-a-half class for kids to show them what they do and how they do it. We do this in parallel with the current production and the performance track, because the production track, as it came to be called, the technical side was the production track, they become the running crew for the current production. And the workshops look like a normal camp. But it only meets once a week for 2 hours. The first 6 to 7 weeks, depending on the current schedule. Then after that, they transition in the production kids transition into the running crew of the production. What I loved about it is each session begins with all 3 groups of kids, the cast, the performance track, and the production track together in a room for half an hour. They're playing get to know you games, theater games, and just team building exercises. They do things like the human knot. What else did we do? We did like the mirror game, like follow your friends, played telephone, different variations on that. This puts all of the participants on the same plane. You don't get your stereotypical diva actresses and actors that are, oh, you're just crew, I don't need you. Or your, likewise, diva technicians that are like, oh, without me, you wouldn't be able to be seen. Everybody's important and everybody gets to see that all the same time. And the tech crew is there from the first week of rehearsal. I mean, I know I would love that as an adult in the shows that I work on. Just get to know them. They're part of the family from the beginning. Once that 30 minutes is over, the production track kids will go off and do their workshop, while the performance track kids stay for an additional 30 minutes where they focus more in on performance skills with the cast. So those 2 groups stay, the production kids head out. And in the actual workshop, you have everything from lecture style information. You have a tour of the areas of your theater, show the kids where they're going to do what they do. Hands-on learning experience. Get them in there. Show them what they're going to do. And then a little Q&A session at the end of that as well. Okay. And are there any differences between the 2 age groups? The topics covered. Definitely going to be different between a 4th grader and an 8th grader. The difference cognitively alone put that in my mind. Stage management. You're not going to have a 4th grader with the stage management, but you are going to show them what the running crew does. Whereas your middle schoolers are a little more responsible, a little bit more mature in some cases. And they're able to understand what that stage manager is, just the depth that you're going to go into. Is it going to be more of a show and tell, or are you going to get really technical on what each aspect is? You look at the maturity level of your kids as well. You got to read your audience. Can they handle what you're going to hand them? Your hands-on activities can be different. When you're learning about the set, if it's possible, and the kids get to help work on the current production set, the younger kids, you can have them paint a wall. Okay, we need this wall green. Okay, here's a roller, the kids paint it green. Whereas the older kids, you might have them help you build something or do more detail work. Just something that is more age appropriate. And another nice thing is having the older kids in the fall. If you have that one kid that just loved it and just excelled and like, no, this is what I found my home, you can have them come back in the spring and help you show the younger kids, because as everybody knows, you learn best by teaching. You're going to really reinforce what you learn, and just to be able to be doing that for your peers can be really special. The workshops themselves. begins with a broad overview of the area of focus. What is the designer responsible for? What is your process? How do you come up with the colors of lights that you're going to do for this musical? I know someone, when they are designing the lights for a musical, if it's one they're not familiar with, they turn on the soundtrack. They don't watch a video. They turn on the soundtrack and the music tells them which color to use. I find that beautiful. And then you have folks that read through a script and they can see a character. They know what they're wearing. They know how their hair looks. They know what their makeup is like. It's to have the kids see the passion that designers have for their area of focus. It just shows them that, okay, no, it is all right that I do like this kind of stuff. And they can tell them who they work with and how they come up with the ideas that they have. Each workshop has a tour of their corresponding area, your wardrobe stocks, your makeup room, your shop, your tech closets, and hands-on demonstration or an activity. And again, a Q&A session at the end, just to reinforce something that might have been missed, or kids can ask questions about things that maybe the designer didn't even think to cover, like, oh, sure, I can go into depth on XYZ. I didn't even think that you would want to know that. The different workshops that we had a set design and construction. For this one, it was really special because it was at the same time as that the theater was putting on Mamma Mia. So that we were able to incorporate both shows at the same time. It was an amazing experience because we were able to get our hands on the blueprints for the set. We were able to show them the model that they built after that. So they got to see, okay, this is what it looks like with the engineering drawing. This is where it started. Okay, then they put it in this little mini version just to see what it'll look like. And then we got to walk across the building and the kids got to walk on the set that they saw as a drawing and then as a model. You can take the kids in and you can tour your stocks. This is where the doors are. This is how we choose our windows. This is where we pick what rock we want to use in the background or what tree. They can, as I said earlier, they can assist with painting or construction if it's possible and allowed in your facility. Some places may not like that. For the sound design, we had the kids tour the booth. They got to go hands-on with the soundboard, and they got to put the faders up and down and add a reverb to the microphone or an echo and just see how the different things they did. Tell them how a microphone works, how it amplifies your voice, and the difference between finding and creating a sound effect. How cool is it that some things can be done backstage or even on stage? If you're having fight combat, you're probably going to have someone slapping their leg to make the sound, right? While showing kids that is how it's done. Kind of a cool experience. A bottle falling off of a shelf, you may have somebody crash it in the backstage, or you might have it pre-recorded and do that. And having the kids figure out ways that maybe they could make the sounds themselves. Okay, how would you make a sound of somebody walking on the grass? How would you make that sound? Okay, we also did lighting design. With that, we had a tour. We started with a tour of the area. We are lucky and we have multiple areas in our theater, and the kids were able to go in each one. We have bridges. We have bridges that are above the stage, and the kids got to go up there and see the world from above. And the facilitator had taken apart a par before they were there, and the kids got to see the inner workings of a light. Like, this is how it works. They got to put their hands on a spotlight, move it around, and see just how heavy and difficult it can be. We went back into the gel room. We went into the booth. We went into the balconies, just anywhere that you can hang lights or anywhere anything lighting related is done. Just show them what it is. We did a focusing demonstration. This is how you shutter the light. This is how you move it around, the angles, the shadows, how you use everything. For hands-on, we let the kids play with the light board. They got to turn it on, turn it off. When we went into the gel room, the kids told the facilitator their favorite color, and they went home with a piece of gel. Excuse me. And when we were doing that focusing demonstration, the kids took that gel, put it in a frame, put it in the light, and they got to see how that color changed the appearance of the stage. How blue just kind of toned everything down, how yellow brightened it up. Had the kids moving the spotlights, the shuttering. That one was a lot of fun. For props, we let the kids tour the prop room, which I don't know if you've ever let a group of teenagers into a prop room that contains swords. Supervised, of course, but we let the kids go in and just see where all of our items come from. They had the swords, the baskets, the typewriters, the musical instruments, just see where all of the baskets come from. Because we're running alongside the performance track, and the performance track does indeed have a show. During that show, they have 2 short skits that the kids performed, and they needed props for those scripts. Well, one of them had the props list pre-made and figured out, and the other one did not. So I broke the kids into 2 separate groups, and the ones that had the prop list created, I had them go through and see if anything was missed. Whereas the prop list that wasn't, it was about a 4-page script, so it was fairly easy and quick. Had them create the prop list from scratch. Oh, it says that they drink coffee. They're going to need a coffee cup. Oh, they type on a typewriter. We better grab that. Oh, they're going to need a telephone for later as well. Just get the list of everything they needed. And it was kind of fun because then if they went to see the show, they got to see the things that they pulled on the stage. Like, hey, I did that. I get to see how it connects. We also talked about creating versus pulling. Is it something that you can go to Goodwill and maybe find an alternative for it? Is it something that you do need to make? Is it edible? Do you need to cook? Do you need to bake? Yep, and as I said, they pulled the props for that production, and it was really neat to watch them figure that out. The next 2 that we worked on were hair and makeup and costume. For hair and makeup, tour the makeup room or makeup area. Where do your actors get ready for the show? Where are all of the lights, all of the fun? The ladies came in with an idea board. Like, okay, this is what I see for this character. This is what I see for that character. And they came up, because this was in October of last year, They came up with an acronym of HEATH for a Heath bar, and that stood for heritage, where are they from, environment, is it hot, is it cold, is it dry, is it super wet, like that can affect, you know, how you're going to do hair, makeup. Age, how old is your character? Are they going to need the extra lines? Are you going to need to put gray in their hair? Time, when is this? Is it in the Renaissance? Is this in Shakespearean time? Is this today? Is this in the future? Just, is that also would dictate how the character would look. And health. Are they in good health? Are they ill? This is gonna have to put the deep set eyes. And then we gave them all 2 or 3 pages of the blank face and let them design a character. What does a princess look like to you? What does a prince look like to you? How about a vampire? Let's create something, create your favorite cartoon character. Bring them to life on the page. And then for costumes, let the kids tour the stock, see what you have there, and show them, we showed them an idea board. Okay, these are the fabrics I'm thinking. This is the color palette I'm going for this. And then go with, am I going to build this costume or am I going to pull this costume? Do we have something in stock? Let's go look and see if we have it. No? Okay, well, it looks like we're going to have to make it. And how you make those decisions. And reference garments versus a usable garment. Okay, this beautiful Renaissance dress that we've found, we don't actually want someone to wear it because it could get ruined. It possibly could happen. So we're going to attempt to build a Victorian gown. Somebody probably could do it. I cannot. And again, we let the kids design a character. This was in October, as I said, so come up with a Halloween costume. You don't have time to go buy something off the shelf. Okay, what do I have in my closet that I can successfully make someone believe that I am a vampire, that I am my favorite cartoon character, that I am my favorite movie actor, like character from a movie. Just the things that kids can come up with is kind of fun and crazy. And for the stage management and running crew, what we're thinking is you need leadership, organizational, and delegation skills. You have to know your space, know your show, know your people. Know your space. Where is everybody? Where should everybody be? And how is the show flowing? Things every stage manager and running crew should know. What are your responsibilities at rehearsal? Is the stage manager there from the beginning? Are they the ones taking the blocking notes, the prop list, making the rehearsal reports? Are they the ones that are on book? Excuse me, sorry. They're the ones that are keeping the cast and crew and the production team sometimes on task and focused. Because we all know we have to have someone to do that for us. Writing and calling cues. If somebody is new to theater, what the heck is a cue, right? Where do you put them? What is a standby? What is a go? Just elaborate on their process for figuring that out. And just the logistics of the craziness that can be backstage. Your set pieces, where do they go? How do they work? Where are your prop tables? What are the entrances? Where are the exits? When are the entrances and exits? Are they going to be simultaneous with set pieces moving? where are your sight lines, and make sure that they know that the crew generally wears dark colors and they're not to be seen, or is this a production where the crew is coming out on the stage? Just all of those types of conversations, and just that kind of information for the kids. Incorporating the crew into the show. Working with your stage manager and your director, make sure you get that text schedule as soon as possible so you can get it to the parents, because they're going from one night a week to potentially 6. And we let parents know up front that this is how this track works, so there's no surprises. And just make sure that you have clear time. Your call times are clear and set. And once the workshops are completed, the participants in our production track become part of the running crew for the current production. Positions are chosen by me, the production coordinator, or the head of the program. And I took what the production needed, what the kids wanted, what skills the kids already possessed, and how were they in the workshops? Were they running around crazy? Were they focused? And you could just tell that this is what they wanted. I had one kiddo who, through almost every single workshop, he was just sitting there on his phone, just playing games, not being disruptive, just playing games. I'm pretty sure mom might have made him do this. But during the lighting workshop, he seemed kind of interested in one area. Like he thought it was kind of like he liked being up on the bridge and looking down on everything. So I had him as one of my spot operators. Well, after the show closed, he gave me a thank you note that said, "Thank you, Mrs. Bornemann, for helping me find my place. I can't wait to do this again." And that just warmed my heart, because he was one of those kids that he's not going to go to an audition. He doesn't have any interest whatsoever in being on stage. But he just had a blast and just found his little niche when we were talking about the lights and how they worked. And it was really good to get that feedback that he found his place, he found his home, and it was a really good moment. I had the kids start at the designer run so they could sit back and watch and get a feel for the show. And after that, I turned them over to the stage manager and their mentors. One thing, you have to make sure that your designers and your adult mentors realize that they are going to have kids performing these tasks. Experience is key. A first-time designer or a first-time mentor might not be the best idea if you can avoid it. Because they are going to have kids up there, kids with them. They're going to be there more for troubleshooting and safety reasons than to move the spotlight or hit go on the board. The kids hit the ground running, just like any other crew of a show that you might be a part of. And the participants do the work. They are the crew. They're in the booth running the light board. They're in the booth running the soundboard. They have their headsets on. They're listening to the stage manager taking cues. The kids are backstage. They're moving the set. They're putting the props back if the kids don't have time. And they're, like I said, they're the spot operators. this gives the kids a chance to show what they have learned. And kids can do it with the proper training and supervision. They can be responsible enough for the show that I assistant directed. Our board operator was a 6th grader. Both of them, actually, both board ops were in 6th grade. Kids can do it. You just have to show them and have a little faith that they'll take it. Additional opportunities with the production track is they could potentially be the crew for 2 different shows. With the performance track going at the same time, they may need a crew. They may need set coming on and off. The props that they had pulled, somebody's going to have to take those and put them where they belong. And then for the current production as well. And what's nice with the crew is they're invited to join in all of the festivities that go in to a production. You get the cast parties, you get the cast gifts, you get the director's gifts. They're backstage before and after the show, and they're part of the family that a cast so often becomes. And having them there from the beginning, they really, really are an ingrained part of that family. One of the things that I like to think of beginning stages, it allows participants to explore and experience everything involved in the creation of a theatrical production. My production track was designed to give students that aren't necessarily interested in being on stage, and those that are, but they're also interested in going behind the scenes and seeing how it works. They get firsthand exposure to how that magic is created. And it focuses on creating opportunities for children to get involved, showing them that theater is not just for performers. There's something in theater for everyone, no matter your interest. And that's all I had. I will take a peek at the questions. You don't need to, oh, there's my face. Oh, looks like somebody was answering a couple of them. For keeping up with the rule of 3, not only was the facilitator there, I was in every single workshop. So there were 2 adults, no matter what. We had 9 kids, and yeah, we knew we needed at least 2 parents or 2 adults at all times. Yes, I can absolutely share my PowerPoint. I can send that out. I am not paid staff. No, I am a volunteer. No, wait, sorry, that I was contracted to do this. And there are 2 of us, one lady for the production side, one lady for the performance side, and then we both work with the director of Center Stage Theater at Midland Center for the Arts. What specialized efforts? We luckily did not have any behavior problems. In the performance track, there were 2 children that were on the spectrum, and because we knew that ahead of time, we had someone come in as an expert that actually works with children with disabilities, just to give the extra support to the facilitator of that side of the program. I believe that was all of Oh, I'm going to bring the chat over here so I can see it better. The $75 fee. Thank you, Larry, for bringing that up, as I completely forgot to mention. Beginning stages is only a $40 charge for it. $75 is for the current production, the main, I guess you can call it the main stage production. With beginning stages, we did not offer comp tickets. How many children? We had 9 in the production track, and it was coincidentally the perfect number. The performance track generally had more. There was more of an interest of being on stage. I believe they had 13 or 14 kids on the other side. We were actually paid by the center, so the $75 fee did not cover what we had. Yeah. Are there any other questions? I believe I've gotten them all up. We have actually only been doing this program for a year. This is brand new, so we're still working out all the bugs. But we're hoping it continues for many, many more. Yes, our local experts did come and volunteer their time free of charge. We have some awesome community members that know their stuff. Thank you, Larry. It is a great way to get kids introduced to the other side of the curtain. The kids seem to really, really enjoy it. They left every day excited, talking about what they had learned, and just knowing that eventually they would get to do one of these areas. They were really super excited. And as far as I know, all of my instructors were very, very pleased with the group of kids that we had, and the mentors that were actually working on the production all said how great the kids were, and thanked us for, 1, giving them help, and 2, for having them come in with some knowledge of what they're going to be doing. They're not coming in blind. Like, they got an email last week that said, hey, do you want to be on the crew? And they showed up. The kid, sorry, I'm reading too many questions at once. Some of the presenters were not working on, the only presenter that was working on the current show actually was the hair and makeup ladies. It was 2 moms from the show that had done it before. Everybody else just came in on their own time, and the rest of the adults that were the mentors had already signed up to be on that show. So they were working on the Midland Youth Theater's production. Thank you. Yeah, exactly, Larry. This is a way to get everyone in the family involved, because you need the parents there too. So if you do have kids that We have one that loves to be on stage and one that's just, no thanks, I'll stay back here. It works. Thank you. You are very welcome, Heather. We have, thank you. I'm glad that you're able to see it as a way for you to start your program. I wanted this to be more of a roadmap than anything. Just, we've done it. This is what worked for us. It's a way for you to know where to start, and maybe you can do it in your area as well.
Okay, does anybody else have any more questions for Melissa? Going once, going twice. Okay. Melissa, thank you so much for this wonderful presentation.